Hey, what's going on, everybody? Geronimo22 coming back to give a little bit of a principle from the Nick Saban defense that I think the game makers are trying to put into the game this year. I talked about this a video 2 months ago on for College Football 25, and I'm bringing it back up now because they've made some patches, but this hasn't been patched. So if it was a mistake, probably would have been patched. I think it's not a mistake. And we're going to talk about dropping the crease. Okay. Now, what does that mean? So dropping the crease is a Nick Saban kind of terminology from what I understand. Okay. Again, I didn't coach under Nick Saban, so some of the details may not be perfect. If you guys have anything to add in the comments or just, comments below, just let me know. All right. So a dagger concept would be if number two is working vertical and number one is working some sort of dig route, right? So just in general, the quarters, technique that Nick Saban uses, okay, basically our outside corner on the outside, okay, he's playing what we call mod technique, okay, MOD. I've talked about it in some of my videos in the past, and you probably heard other people talk about it. Pretty much what that means is he's going to take man. He's basically going to man or match anything that's outside. So anything outside of him. So 5 yard out, 10 yard out, come back, or deep. Okay. So anything that goes beyond whatever deep is for your system. Now, what is the deep landmark? I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes it's 8 yards, could be 10, could be 12. But he's going to lock on to anything of any type of route. But the only exception in the Saban system is this concept right here, which is called Dagger. So we get some sort of route where two is working vertical, okay, and one is working that deep dig. What's going to happen is the corner is going to let that go instead of matching that, all right? So he's going to let this particular route go, and whoever doesn't have work, okay, it could be the nickel. He's going to sink back. In this case, he doesn't have any work if this is the route concept you see. And he's going to get underneath that dig, okay? And then at times you will see the three receiver hook player, right? Let's say the nickel cannot get underneath the dig. The next player that probably will be able to would be this player here, okay? So it's a kind of way to get these four guys to work over these three guys on the left right now, but definitely to have these three guys work over these two and almost take care of a route that's really hard in quarters coverage, match quarters to cover, okay? The base way that you could beat this is by running this route, and the way the dig is run can sometimes get inside leverage on even a corner that's playing inside leverage, okay? So let's just take a look at this real quick, and let me show you. So this is new to this year, guys. If you guys are wondering why are the corners not playing digs at a 2x2, well, that's the reason why, okay? Okay, so let's just take a look at this real quick. I kept the running back in, so there's no three receiver for anybody to worry about. So that's the reason why you have two players back here. But let's just watch this corner on the outside, right? He backs up, he gets a route. Now, I know that this player did break under 10 yards. So some people would say, well, Geronimo, I think because he's breaking, he's rolling this at 8. He sees this as some sort of inside breaking route. He doesn't have to take it. It's not deep. So that's the reason why he let it go. But I'll show you here in a second how that's not true. So these players here, okay, so the corner lets it go, right? He goes and matches number two. He goes to help out and find work and look for number two now. And our nickel, who is the quarter flat defender, this is new to you guys. This guy's going to do a little jam on two and then look to get underneath number one. And the same thing with the three receiver hook player, right? He doesn't have any work, so he's going to sink back underneath his hook. And he's also going to look to help out on the first route that's coming underneath. So just want to let you know that's what's happening. Now, let me do the exact same route and just make it deeper. Okay, so let's take this dig and let's push it up to almost 20 yards, okay? So this is guaranteed that this is how you test things out. I'm sure you guys do the same thing. If this 20-yard dig is not taken, then there's definitely a coding thing that we have to not worry about, but we have to learn, okay? Let me see if I can hold the ball long enough here. Okay, and I can. So that route is so deep that even the nickel and the three receiver hook player did not get to where they probably should and try to get underneath that route. But let me just show you again. Boom. So this route here is when is he breaking? He's rolling at 15, getting to 20. And you see how the nickel lets it go? Okay. So this route can be 20, 25 yards down the field. I mean, I think if it gets beyond 30 yards down the field, the corner is obviously going to lock up on it and the quarterback's going to have to be scrambling. But in general, This concept, this dagger concept, okay, is called dropping the crease. Okay, they call this route a crease route, I guess, in their system, in the Saban system. So they are dropping the crease and letting this go. If I was to run a post route or something like that, the corner would not let that go. Okay, so let me just show you here. If I get a post route on the outside, I'll just get a post route on the inside just to make it realistic. Okay. You're going to see how the corner is going to lock on to his guy and the safety is going to lock on to his guy. All right. So that post route was run about maybe they broke a little bit early. Obviously, they broke around 10 yards. All right. So somebody might say, well, okay, that's over 10 yards. He took it. Makes sense, right? This guy here is kind of in no man's land, but still, same thing. So that's what's happening, guys. All right. Now, a couple things to think about. Now, let's kind of get the back involved here, right? So with the back checking through on this same route, you're going to lose your three receiver hook player is obviously going to do his job and play the running back. He's the third receiver. So now you have the nickel sitting in that window. Okay. Now the nickel is not going to carry the dig all the way across the field. It's almost like he's robbing the dig just for a couple steps and lets it go. All right. So watch this, right? He gets up and he kind of goes for a couple steps and then he kind of lets it go, thinking there has to be some other. Hopefully, there's another player that can overtake that. Now, again, I never coached in the system. I'm not sure exactly how they would coach that. But from the Madden and also the college football world, because this is the same in college football, you need to understand that. Now, let's also talk about some other issues and probably why people are using certain routes similar to this. Okay. I'm going to keep the running back in the block. I'm going to drag the tight end. Okay. I'm just going to run the same type of route. You know what? The funny thing is that it doesn't have to be dagger, it can be four verticals. The nickel is, when he doesn't have an immediate threat to the flat, he basically gets a lot of vertical distance in his initial stem, and then he comes back to the flat late. And a lot of people are taking advantage of that by throwing what? Throwing shallows all day. Okay, and this is part of the reason why it looks so wide open versus quarters, is because most people, again, how I used to teach it, I would never tell the nickel to ever go up vertical and basically almost carry number two to number one. I would tell him to just get hands on it, get his eyes to the new number three, which is right here coming right now. And he would take that right now. So this is something that you have to understand in the coding of the game. You might want to actually play with the nickel, okay, and actually take care of this yourself. And you either now can sit between the dig and then come down on the shallow, but you don't want to turn your shoulders and go upfield, okay? That's one. Or you could play with the three receiver hook player there, okay, and really just match number three across the field, okay, because this is technically your new number three. So if this was to happen, you might want to just say, you know what, I'm just going to go match it with the Mike linebacker. Okay, I'm going to go match it with my three rec and just go and just, it's not perfect because I know there's space in the middle of the field now where this guy can potentially get open, but this is where pass rush is so important, and this is where you need to understand what's going on. Okay, so again, this route here, if I ran just the two was running an out route, okay, and I had number one running a dig, it's not a dagger concept anymore. Okay, I'm just going to back him up just a little bit, just so we know for sure. But let's watch this again. The corner can still let that go, okay? So that's where you're kind of wondering, that rule of it always being the dagger concept where two is vertical is not even true. And maybe that could be a little bit something that could be changed with the programming, because I don't think the rules intended for this. I think that if this was to happen, the corner should not let this go. At the same time, I do believe they probably are telling their safeties to screw down on this right here and to go get that dig. And the safeties are not programmed that way. So this could be a big flaw in the quarters coverage. If I were you, I would use the three receiver hook player and make sure you help out in the middle of the field with this, okay? Or even use the safety and make sure you take away that route. So that's a little bonus thing, okay? The cut the crease is kind of happening against all digs of one, okay? All right, and just so you know, I don't know if anybody else has said this, but this is only a 2x2 situation, okay? So if you jump into 3x1, you're not going to get the cut the crease, all right? Let's take a look at it. So let's go 3x1. I'll flip the defense. There we go. We have dagger. Perfect, okay? Let's come out into quarters. All right, so here we go. We have quarters coverage, right? On the left-hand side, right? Our corner is going to match number one across the field. So whatever the situation is, the cut the crease is only happening when it's 2x2, okay? Or a two receiver side. You see how the outside corner is following the dig now? Okay. Let's just watch it one more time. See if we can get a little cleaner. Okay. And you can even see there that dig that the number one guy ran was a little bit, he ran it a little bit shorter. I think he speed cut this about 8 yards, if I'm not mistaken. About there, about 9, right there. He puts his foot down and the corner is still taking this. Okay. So be aware of that. Okay. So the mod corner is not going to drop the crease against 3x1. All right. And if you guys don't know, and quarters coverage, our backside corner is playing Meg. So that's never going to happen to the solo, to the one receiver side. You don't have to worry about that. So let me just show you an example. I'll even put him to the field. All right. No matter what the route is in the backside here, we're playing quarters. Our backside receiver is playing Meg. He's going to take care of number one. Now, he got beat on a great speed cut right there, but it doesn't matter. It could be a deep dig. It could be a shallow or a drag. Okay. He's going to take that. He's there. Okay. I could run a 5-yard out. Same thing. All right. So just make sure you guys understand that. I'll go back again. I'm going to go back on my Patreon and redo 2x2, 3x1, bunch, all that stuff with quarters after I'm done with the cover 3 seam series. But the rules are mod, man outside and deep versus 2x2. And if you get a dagger or any type of dig route, expect the corner to, as they say, drop the crease in the Saban language. If you guys have any questions, comments, if I missed anything, let me know. All right. Talk to y'all later, man. Peace.